Principal and Professor, Savita College of Allied Health Sciences, to speak about career options in healthcare. A warm welcome to you, sir, and happy to have you with us. The Pupil Savita Eco School started in the year 2012 under the flagship of Dr. N.F. Veerayan, has classes from kindergarten to class 12, creating a model education system rooted in traditions and wisdom, integrating the best of modern technology and progressive pedagogical philosophies. Sir's passion and dedication and energy are an unending source of inspiration to all of us. A hearty welcome to you, sir. A warm welcome to our directors, Dr. Savita and Dr. Rajesh, who understand that children of the 21st century stand at the threshold of ever evolving opportunities, technology, and social demands, and the need to equip them with the right knowledge, skills, and values that will enable them to adapt to any circumstance, face challenges head on, and continue to learn and grow throughout their lives. The Pupil Career Talk series is one such initiative from our beloved director, Dr. Savita, for the students to make them aware of the various fields of study. They are now exposed to the numerous fields available to choose from, and this is our 10th episode of the Career Talk series. I welcome you, Madam and Sir. A warm welcome to our students and parents who have joined us today for this informative and educative session. Before we move on to the session, let's now watch a short video about the Pupil Savita Eco School. So this was about our school, sir.
Impressive, madam. Impressive.
May I now request?
Yes, I will do it.
Yes, Dolly ma'am, to introduce the speaker to all of us.
Good morning, Dr. Jagadish.
Good morning, madam.
So I will give you a quick brief about Dr. Jagadishwaran because I think there is a lot he has achieved, and this short time is not enough for us to speak about his achievements. Sir has completed his PhD in renal sciences and dialysis technology from Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research. He has a lot of achievements and accomplishments to his credit. He is the first allied health professional in the field of dialysis technology in accordance with the UGC regulations. Sir is an expert member to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. And he is a part of framing the national curriculum, career pathway and job profile for dialysis therapy. And he is one among the senior allied health professionals with the entire qualification from the field of dialysis technology. 14 years of teaching experience and 18 years of clinical experience in the field of allied health sciences, specializing in renal sciences and dialysis technology. 8 awards for the best paper, posters, research publications, and whatnot. Dr. Jagadishwaran has many more achievements to be added to the list. And I feel, sir is the apt person to speak to us about allied health sciences, which is not much spoken about, but I think this is the upcoming, discipline. And I think definitely a person like Dr. Jagadishwaran will open a lot of avenues to our pupilites and non-pupilites who have joined us, sir. You're welcome to this platform to share all your experiences and enlighten us about the field of allied health sciences. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thanks for your kind words of introduction. At the outset, I would like to thank the director of the Pupil School and the principal for providing me this opportunity to deliver a career talk series on allied health profession. Before I go into the allied health profession, I just want to share few information. So when I received the e-invite regarding this program, so I have noticed the students from 8th standard to 12th standard are taking part in this career series. I just quite wondered, right? See, when I just recall how I entered this profession, most of the time the teachers who are who are the one who are instrumental in shaping or guiding the career. This has happened when I was a student in 12th standard. I am a biology student. So as you know, the 70s, 80s kids, they take biology, there are two options. So one fine day before the practical examination, I mean the university, the school practical examination, my biology teacher called me and he was asking me, like after your question. Sir, I told him engineering. Then actually, I know that medicine is very tough. Even now, it is quite tough. It's not that easy clearing the NEET examination. And I am from a background. I thought, okay, let me think about engineering or other aspect. But he actually advised me that we don't go into same field like anyone else. Don't follow the other's path. Think about there are a lot of new profession which has plenty of job opportunities. And he told me two profession. அப்போ வந்து அந்த ப்ரொஃபஷன் தான் ரொம்ப ஒரு இது மெடிக்கல் லெபார்டரி டெக்னீஷியன் ஆகுது, இல்லைன்னா ரேடியாலஜி படி நீ வந்து அப்ராட் போயிடலாம் அப்படின்னு he told me. Actually, that is the first insight which has actually informed. And as a plus two student, like pupils, we are all not having that much opportunity from the standard of life to get a career orientation. So till the plus two, before the examination, practical examinations, still we are blank, to be frank. I think my biology teacher, I want to mention his name, is Mr. Royappa Reddy, who actually gave me an idea about this particular profession. Thanks to him. And I want to thank the management and the principal and other teachers who spend their quality time, not only in terms of teaching, but also to improve the students' scope or the career progression by conducting a lot of these things. And I'm happy to be the part of this initiative. So before starting about the allied health profession, just to tell, if you ask in the aviation industry, who are the key players? Most of us will tell pilots, air crew members, or airline members. But if you carefully look, okay, they are also the very important and the topmost members. But if you carefully look, there are several key players. Like we have aviation meteorologists, we have air traffic controller, we have air traffic mechanic, who all maintain. So the overall objective of the aviation industry is to keep the passenger, I mean, the utmost importance is the passenger safety and their convenience. Similarly, if you ask the medical industry, who are the key players? We always know doctors and nurses. And there are, because most of the time we meet them, we interact with them. There are several other key players like allied health professional. We are not much aware. So today I will just take you through the various allied health profession, and definitely I try to do justice for this particular profession. My screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. It's just a symbolism. Dear student, the picture symbolizes to listen more, think big, concentrate more, and actually the last is for me to talk less. So the overall objectives of this particular session, I mean, we will go the one by one objectives. The first is we shall see about the current scenario of healthcare industry in India, and what is the present demand for allied health professionals. Who are these allied health professionals, and what are the different types of allied health profession which is currently available in India and elsewhere, and what are the career options for allied health professional, how to become an allied health professional, and I have a small AV at the end of this presentation and a take-home message. To keep you more engaging, because I know I don't want to bore you much, so I have planned actually to discuss about 3 superheroes in their respective profession during this session. So when I post this symbol or the image, I think anyone, if you know the answer, can unmute yourself and can find out who are all the the superheroes and superwomen. Coming to the healthcare service, as per the definition of World Health Organization on health, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of any disease or weakness or illness. The Indian healthcare sector is actually booming over the past few years and become one of the largest sector in terms of revenue and employment. It's not only the healthcare industry, but also parallelly the incidence and prevalence of various diseases also increase year by year. So when I say incidents, these are new diseases that are coming up. Identify every year, like the COVID, which was identified in the year 2019. And there are a lot of other existing diseases that keeps on adding. So we classify the disease into two major categories, the communicable and the non-communicable disease. The non-communicable disease are nothing but usually it does not transfer from one person to other. To cite an example, the diabetes, obesity, cancer, stroke, atherosclerosis. These are all the disease usually does not transfer from one person to other, but as associated with significant morbidity, that is the hospitalization rate and mortality. So actually the non-communicable disease was a challenge before for past 2 years, but that has been overtaken by the recent pandemic. Moving on to the communicable disease, these are the disease actually spread through the various route of microorganisms like the bacteria, virus, fungi, etc. And the latest addition is the SARS-2 coronavirus. So you know the COVID pandemic has caused global crisis, and it has actually a reminder for the importance of investing in the healthcare sector for any country. Looking into the healthcare industry in India, India spends around 1.8% of its gross domestic product, that is the GDP, on healthcare. This was reported as per the last financial report of 2021. This year, the government of India has committed to increase the budget expenditure from 2.5 to 3.5. That is to almost doubling the investment on healthcare infrastructure and on healthcare workforce. Primarily, the burden of diseases keep on getting increases, and with the new challenges of COVID. And Indian healthcare industry is growing at a rate of 22% ever since 2016. As per the World Bank data, which was published in the year 2017, India has 0.5 bed per 1,000 population. When we compare to the Western world, it is significantly lower. The Western worlds have anywhere between 3 to 4.5 per 1,000 population. And if you look the number of doctors, the World Health Organization recommends 1 doctor per 1,000 population. However, in India, we have only 1 doctor per 1,445. So all these data suggests that the healthcare industry is growing. However, there is a still shortage of health infrastructure and healthcare professionals. So when I say an healthcare professional, as I told at the beginning of our presentation, these are the key players who comes to your mind: the doctor, the dentist, nurse, pharmacist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, etc. However, as I told you earlier, the doctors, who are the key central component of the healthcare profession, with the increasing burden of disease, there is a huge shortage both in terms of doctor, and also the disease burden is increasing every year exponentially. Hence, the policy maker suggested the task shifting, especially pertaining to the technology to reduce the overall burden of doctor. So the current model is focusing on patient, or so-called patient-centric model, where all the healthcare players play a key role to improve the overall patient safety and the quality of healthcare delivery system. And this is actually been suggested by various accrediting agencies. Like we have for every school we have some accrediting agencies like CBSE. For healthcare system, we have a worldwide accrediting agency called Joint Commission International, and for India we have NABH, that's the National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. So they are now focusing into multidisciplinary team approach. Primarily, one reason is more healthcare providers are already now started coming into India, and secondly, we need to reduce the burden on the doctors. So this will definitely improve the patient care, and also the doctors will get more time to see more patients. Thereby, their focus will be on motivated towards the patient care and research, which is also an important aspect which medical professional need to look upon. Coming to the demand for allied health professional, the World Health Organization actually estimated that there will be more than 40 million new health sector jobs will be required by the year 2030. Actually, recently I had an opportunity to listen to a top health consultant in the Ministry of Health, Government of India, and actually she was in the panel of the WHO. So the initial projection of 80 million healthcare workers shortage has now increased to 30 million by the year 2030 due to this COVID pandemic. So that's one. Second, if you look upon one of the renowned global consulting agency called McKinsey, which has published a report in the year 2017, predicted that more than 130 million healthcare jobs will be created. And a notifiable agency from India, that is Public Health Foundation of India, actually reported that there is 64 lakh of allied health professional shortage in India. So to summarize, as I told you earlier, there is a great demand for the healthcare professional, and especially in allied health professional, there is a growing demand, not only in the private sector, also in the government sector. Let us see who are these allied health professionals. If you strictly look upon the definition, the allied and healthcare professional includes a scientist, therapist, or other professional who studies, advises, diagnoses, research, supervises, and provides preventive, curative, rehabilitative, therapeutic. It's a quite exhaustive definition because the allied health professional has almost more than 56 categories. We need to, they have of a different expertise, and they have to complete a qualification with the duration not less than 3,600 hours. And as I told you, modern healthcare system is technology oriented. The technology is growing at a very faster pace and it's being constantly upgraded. And there is a huge demand for these medical technologies to handle this high-end sophisticated equipment. And historically, the allied health professions are called as technicians who are very practical expertise, but lacks deep scientific knowledge. However, the present allied health professional are given their skills are developed to meet both the theoretical component and as well as the practical component. And the allied health professionals are also commonly called as therapists or technologists as per their subject domain. Coming to the allied health professional, if you commonly ask who are the allied health professional, usually the first one comes to our mind is the medical laboratory technologist. And medical imaging technology. These two are one of the oldest allied health profession that is being constantly upgraded every year. If you carefully look upon in the recent time, the medical laboratory technologies played a very major role in this COVID pandemic. I don't know how many of you are aware that the RT-PCR is one of the tests, confirmatory tests for the detection of COVID virus in the body is done by the medical laboratory technologies. And the next one is the CT. And usually in the second wave, there were reports that the COVID virus actually not being detected in RT-PCR, but causes systemic manifestation, infection, and it is being picked by the CT test. And you know that medical imaging technologies are the one who perform the CT of the whole body and especially the CT. So these two professionals played a very major role. Other than that, there are a lot of other professionals who are also important, and I will just take you through, who also played a very vital role, but most of us are not aware about them. Strictly speaking, there are more than 56 categories of allied health profession, and the boundary is actually continuing to expand. Due to time constraint, I have clubbed few professions into single category as these professions are interdisciplinary in nature. The nutrition science program was actually discussed last week by one of my old colleagues, and the other health professions such as physiotherapy, occupational therapy are widely known. I will discuss about the medical technologies and other associated healthcare professionals in detail. To start with the medical laboratory technology. So this is one of the oldest allied health profession. The medical laboratory technology actually deals with the clinical laboratory investigation. They handle the sophisticated equipments pertaining to their area of expertise. Just to highlight, in biochemistry, they usually, when you go to lab to test certain biochemical parameters like blood glucose, electrolyte, liver function test, all these are done using an automated analyzer or a semi-automated analyzer. These equipments are all being handled by the medical laboratory technology. With reference to clinical pathology is another division in the medical laboratory science, where the complete blood count is nothing but the hemoglobin and other the number of blood cells like platelet, WBC. So all these are being assessed by the medical laboratory technology. And most recently, the microbiology and immunology, the PCR, RT-PCR, which I have already mentioned, and the ELISA technique is used to assess the presence of HIV, HCV, and other antigen. And the most important, blood culture, urine culture, and sensitivity. So overall, if you look upon all the diagnostic aspect pertaining to the medical science handled by the medical laboratory technology. Coming to the biomedical science, actually is one I would say is an extension of the medical laboratory science. If you see the application of biological science into the medical science, and this is actually a profession where the professional studies about cell, organs, and system in detail. Just to highlight, the molecular biologist who usually studies about the DNA, RNA, and protein synthesis in cell. To cite an example, the latest COVID is an RNA virus. It undergoes a lot of transformation, and they are study about the spike protein. All these studies are done by the molecular biologists. Second is the human genetics, who studies about the gene. So the genetics component actually has a more importance and gaining popularity in our country. So if you just look into the same COVID, because that is more relevant at this point in time, I'm just talking more on COVID. The COVID virus undergoes mutation. So if you look at the different variants of COVID, started from alpha, beta, now it has come to delta plus, actually that's quite recent one. So the biomedical scientists are the one who identify all this mutation and the transformation of these viruses and other microorganisms. Other than this, there are plenty of opportunity to work in the field of biotechnology and bioinformatics. Next, I actually move on to another important profession. It's called cardiovascular technology. The cardiovascular technology usually perform these three important procedures. One is called echocardiography. It's nothing but using an ultrasound wave, they assess the structure and the function of the heart. And using treadmill stress, they assess the functionality of the heart, and electrocardiogram is just to assess the the electrical activity in the heart. So they work under the supervision of the cardiologist, especially in the interventional cardiovascular. They help in the cath labs, assist them in the angiogram and other associated procedures pertaining to the cardiology department. Next is one more important profession. It's called cardiovascular perfusion technology. Some of you know that someone develops cardiac arrest, admits in the hospital. They do an angiogram. Let me say the cardiovascular technology along with interventional cardiologist does an angiogram. The result shows the patient requires a bypass surgery. All the major arteries are being blocked. The patient heart is going to get operated. During the procedure, the perfusion is take the function of the heart. So through the heart-lung machine. So through this procedure, the patient is kept alive and the surgeon performs the surgery without any complication. And the perfusionists also participate in various heart surgeries like cardiac transplant, cardiovascular surgery. And they also expert in the ECMO. I think in recent times we heard about ECMO, especially being used extensively in the lot of VIPs and celebrities. It's nothing but extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. That is, using a membrane oxygenator, blood is taken out of the body. The oxygenator does the function of the heart and the so it keeps the patient alive. Especially, it also been useful during the COVID pandemic. And they also assist in other procedures like ventricular assist device and intra-aortic balloon pump. So it's also one important profession. I think most of us are not aware. Moving into the critical care technology. So at the time of introduction, I was talking about the hospital bed ratio. The COVID has actually taught us a lot of lessons. If you see, almost a month or 2 months before, there is a huge scarcity of ICU beds. So I used to get called, most of us in the healthcare profession, is there ICU beds are available. And usually when we studied, I heard of 2 beds, ICU bed and the so-called hospital bed. The concept of oxygen bed actually developed because there was this pandemic has put a lot of patients requiring more of oxygen. This put, into distress not only health infrastructure but also to the healthcare professional. The critical care technologists are one who actually works in the ICU, wherein they deliver the appropriate care to the critically ill patient. And they are the one who actually handle modern airway devices, oxygen delivery devices, the oxygen concentrator. Then we have several other equipments like NIV mask and other masks. Then they are trained in to handle the ventilators, electronic infusion pump, and arterial pulse oximeters. And another important profession is the diabetic care technology. India is becoming a diabetic capital in the world, and we don't have more number of diabetologists to meet the demand. So there is a good number of opportunities for the diabetic care professional to work as a diabetic educator, because they can significantly reduce the times of the consultant in explaining about the diet, medication, and other essential things which has to be taken care by the patient, so that the diabetologist can concentrate on many more such patients. Diabetic care technologists are also work as a physician assistant in diabetology department. They perform many clinical tasks and also participate in the clinical management. This is actually, before going, I want to just highlight an incident which I encountered during my time of internship. See, those days, even now, patient used to carry a big file. Okay. I was actually posted in a nephrology OPD and assisting one of senior professor in nephrology. Our patients many times have a habit of putting all the content into the file. நம்ம வந்து இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணுறோமோ இல்லையோ, எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி பில்ஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணுறோமோ இல்லையோ, அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா அந்த மெடிக்கல் இது பண்ணுற பில் எல்லாம் எடுத்து ஒரே ஃபைலில் வச்சுருவாங்க. So what has happened is, on that particular day, usually I do the physical, basic evaluation before sending them to the consultant. Due to some call, I just went to another patient. By the time some other person has just overcome on the bills talichanga, na paakama I just written and I handed over to the file to the consultant. So patient went to the doctor. So sometimes the patients have an habit. நான் டாக்டரோட அரசு எல்லாம் ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாக ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறோம். நான் மெடிக்கேஷன் எடுக்கிறது சொன்னால் தப்பு கிடையாது சார், இந்த டெஸ்ட் நீங்கள் எடுத்து சொன்னீங்க, அதை பாருங்க, அந்த பில்லு, இந்த பில்லு வந்து இருக்கும். You understand the doctor situation. There are 20-25 patients waiting outside. And it's man keep on explaining about all the tests which are been on the bill which இது பண்றாரு ஒவ்வொரு தடவை அவர் எழுந்து சொல்லும்போது my heart beats start increasing and doctors start looking at me. So all these problems are now cannot with this generation. Now actually the concept of electronic medical record has come up. Now all the data is coming into the size of a card. So here comes the information management specialist or the medical record officer. So the digitalization has helped, and actually it has saved many of people like me from embarrassment. This actually helps a doctor in a greater way. By sitting in a OP in his consultant room, doctor can look upon all this patient history from the radiological, the radiological picture, the lab analysis, etc., whatnot. This actually played a greater way in reducing the medical records in a hospital. And for that, we need a specialist called health information technologist or a medical record officer who will actually take care of or maintains the medical records in the hospital. And it is actually essential because medical records are associated with a lot of legal and regulatory requirements. And the concept was now from the electronic medical record, which is usually restricted to one hospital. Now the concept is moving towards electronic health record. There are a lot of now several private party, third party players are into it. So they record in their cloud or other database. So even if the patient moves from one hospital to the other, the records can be viewed from the other hospital. So here the role of health information technology is very crucial, and actually they play a very good role. And about this profession, there is very little awareness among the general public. Next, I move on to another important and oldest medical allied health profession, that is medical imaging technology. This all actually started from the X-ray, where the medical radiology technologies associated with direct administration of X-ray to assess the injury or diagnosis of a disease. Later on, the expertise with the invention and addition of newer technology from the basic X-ray, now the technology has grown up to a lot of other advanced equipment like CT, computed tomography, CT scan, or MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. Then we have nuclear medicine, where we use the radioisotopes in the as a radiopharmaceutical, and we use a gamma camera to capture those images. Then we have mammography and functional MRI, etc., positive emission tomography. I think it's keep on adding. And if you look up the CT, it's again every year or at a periodical interval, it keep on gets increases. It keep on gets increased. So what happens is, sorry, there's some.
Children, please mute the speaker. Yes, sir. Sir, you can continue, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So the medical imaging professional can actually assist the radiologist in identifying some of the key the medical imaging technologies play a vital role in assessing the various pathology from the head to foot. And the technologies keep on advancing every year. And now there is a recent advantage or with the advancement from 1.5 to up to a 7 Tesla. Actually, in our country, we are using up to 3 Tesla or 4 Tesla. There are a lot of advancement coming up year by year, and the medical imaging technologies need to update themselves every year. Just to take a break. Please identify. I think most of you can answer.
MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni.
Thank you. Thank you. Correct.
Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli. Mitali Raj.
Mitali Raj. Correct. So these are the key people or the superhero or superwoman in the field of cricket. So I think now we have identified easily. We have a next challenge. Let us see whether you could be able to identify. Next, I move on to the another important profession, neuroelectrophysiology. Actually, neuroelectrophysiologists work in the neurology department. They actually perform following studies called as polysomnography, that is sleep study. During sleeps, a lot of people may encounter sleep apnea, that is breathlessness during sleep, or something, some condition like restless leg syndrome. All these can be assessed using this technique. And the neuroelectrophysiologists can assess the nerve conduction, and also they can assess the effect of neuron and the nerves with reference to their motor coordination and visual coordination. So again, this is one area of interest where a lot of postgraduate studies. There are a lot of premier institute offer, like National Brain Research Center, where the neuroelectrophysiology role is very, very important. Moving on to another important profession, operation theater and anesthesia technology. Actually, amalgamation or a combination of two different professions. These professionals usually assist the anesthetist and the surgeon. So they are the one who have wide knowledge about the various equipment that is being used in the surgery. And they can work as an operation theater manager, operation theater in charge, etc., etc. And one profession actually now gets gaining importance is called CSSD and infection control. The CSSD is nothing but Central Sterile Supply Department. You know, everyday operations happen, the instruments are being used, and these instruments needs to be cleaned and it has to be again sterilized for its next use. So the CSSD and the other infection control professionals play a vital role in preparing these equipments. They keep ready for the next use. And one more important profession is the optometry. Optometrists work under the ophthalmologist. They provide the comprehensive eye and vision care, which includes refraction, detection and diagnosis, and management of disease, especially with eye and rehabilitation pertaining to the visual system. So they also their job role was not restricted only to dispensing the optical, but they also play a vital role in the refraction. They also play an important role in managing the eye bank and also assist with the corneal transplantation. And another important profession now being widely discussed is the physician assistant. As I told you earlier, the doctors are very busy. They have more patients to see. The physician assistant can reduce their burden. So the physician assistant usually work in following departments, from the outpatient to the catheterization lab, cardiac care unit, all the super specialty departments. And actually, there's a concept of mid-level practitioners, which is being widely practiced in the West, where the physician assistant and the physician associates are given some amount of credential to practice and even to prescribe drug. And the same concept is now being considered, especially it has started in the nursing profession, where the nursing practitioner is a new program where they are being now considered as a middle level practitioner. So I think there is a bright future available for these professionals. Coming to the renal dialysis technology program, you know, as I told you earlier, diabetes is the increasing in every country, and India is the diabetic capital of the entire world. Diabetes causes multiple complications from retinopathy, peripheral neuropathy, and one important is called as diabetic nephropathy, that is disease of the kidney. If you look, almost 40 to 50% of the patient who develop renal failure are primarily due to diabetes. So once somebody develops a renal failure, and a condition called chronic kidney disease, they need some form of renal replacement therapy to sustain their life. There are several therapies are now available. The most commonly used are hemodialysis. The hemodialysis is nothing but the patient blood is taken out of the body, that circulated in an extracorporeal circuit in a tube, and it goes into an artificial filter called as artificial kidney, where the functions of the kidney is being done and the blood is purified and returned back to the patient. So this is called as an extracorporeal therapy, through which the patient, usually the patient visits the dialysis center thrice a week, and in order to sustain their life, the patient has to undergo this procedure for their lifetime. So the dialysis professional not only handle this procedure, they also involved in other extracorporeal procedures like hemoperfusion. And this is done when someone takes just a poison. It gets mixed with the blood, and that can be removed from the blood through the extracorporeal circuit. And liver dialysis, not only for kidney failure, even for liver failure, there are liver dialysis is now available. It's quite expensive therapy, but it's being routinely done as a bridge treatment before liver transplantation. And one of these therapies of recent interest, the endotoxin and cytokine. So you know the COVID, not only COVID, even other infection can cause inflammation, which can lead to release of cytokine. The cytokine is a protein which, when goes in circulation in an excess amount, can cause organ damage, or we call it as an organ injury. So it do not usually affect one organ; it will usually multiple organs. So patient require hemodynamic support, and they will be placed in ICU. In such patients, there are a lot of studies, and now the filters are commercially available. The circulating cytokines can be removed using the artificial filter through an extracorporeal circuit. So these are the recent advances in this field, and now there are further research is going on removing the HIV virus from the blood. I think once that becomes possible, that's going to be a remedy for patients with HIV. Moving on to another important profession, the radiotherapy technology. Radiotherapy technology is nothing but is use of an ionizing radiation to treat cancer. Radiotherapy is similar to a chemotherapy, which is usually given orally or in an IV to treat the cancer. So radiotherapy professionals usually work in a multidisciplinary team along with the radiation oncology, medical physicists, and other supporting staff. And these professionals are the direct responsible for administration of radiotherapy treatment to the cancer patient. And again, this one profession is governed by the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. So there is a huge jobs prospectus for this profession. And another profession of interest of recent time, there is an increased prevalence of infertility among general population. Lifestyle modification, obesity, all this put forward to the parents or the couples requiring childbirth. That now a lot of the assisted reproductive technology plays a vital role. So in short, if I want to test tube babies, okay. So the embryologists are the one who is a key player in the they work along with the reproductive medicine specialists in intrauterine insemination and IVF, and also they also play a vital role in the cryopreservation. So they undergo an extensive training in reproductive medicine, andrology, that is study about the male reproductive system, and embryology, it is study of the embryo. So again, there are plenty of opportunity. You could see now every street or every major roads, you can find IVF centers. So again, it's one of the upcoming profession in the field of allied health sciences. I think if I miss respiratory profession, I think at this time I will be condemnable. Okay, so we are the professionals who are play a very vital role during this COVID pandemic. So respiratory therapists actually work from assessing the pulmonary function test to managing the ventilator. So holistically, they manage the respiratory care of a patient. And this COVID pandemic not only caused distress to doctors and nurses, but also to the respiratory therapists across the country and across the world. Another important profession, this is actually called as trauma care management, but usually referred as paramedic. So previously there was a common terminology called paramedical program. If you look in the first, the exact definition for paramedic is the trauma care professional or emergency management professional. It is being commonly used for all other professions, but now the government of India has clearly demarcated the appropriate term is trauma care professional or emergency medical technologist. So these are the professionals who are the first point of contact when there is a trauma or an injury, actually, or there is some kind of a disaster. And extension to this program, now there is of a recent interest regarding the CBR, the chemical, biological, radiation, and nuclear threat. So again, these the trauma care professional, along with the emergency physician, are the first responder in case of disaster. And the COVID-19 is also a biological. It is being considered. Okay, again, I do not go into that. There have been a lot of debates whether it is a biological threat caused by a leak from a lab. But in such emergencies occur, these are the first responders who handle the emergency. And these professionals are also being undergo a certification from American Heart Association. They complete advanced cardiac life support, pediatric life support, and neonatal life support certification, which enables them to handle any emergency in all these age groups. Another important profession is the urology technologist. Again, urology technologists play an important role, especially with the extracorporeal shock wave lithotripsy. It's nothing but using a shock wave when somebody develops a renal stone, especially a stone in a ureter, without doing a surgery. Using the shock wave, the stones can be broken. So this equipment is handled by the urology technology. Other than that, they also assist the urologist in operation theater, especially for the renal transplantation and other urological associated procedures like urodynamics, uroflow techniques, etc. Sports and exercise, again, it's one more profession of recent interest. You know, sports, now more emphasis is being given to the sports. This is actually a scientific program where the movement of human body assessed using latest technology. For an example, if you playing cricket, you throw a ball, okay, so certain movements may cause injury, okay. So these movements can be assessed using the available technology, where the professional, along with the sports medicine physician, advises changes in the movement, so to prevent injury associated with their training or due to their activity. And these professionals have good opportunities in many of the sports medicine center. They can also work as a sports coach. They can work in as a movement analyst, biomechanist. And there are actually these are all one more additional specialization. By doing their masters, they can progress further in these areas of expertise. Okay, time to take a small break. Any attempt, please, at least make an attempt. I know it's very difficult. You may not know. I was not expecting the answer, but just any attempt. Charles Babbage. Okay. His name is Wilhelm Röntgen. He is the first allied health professional from the medical imaging technology. What he has done, he is the one who discovered X-ray. Okay, this is the first image taken by the Röntgen. So he is actually a superhero in the allied health profession. And I want to add, when during the both COVID first wave and during the second wave, almost all educational institutions except medical college, nursing college, and allied health professional college. My allied health interns worked both in the COVID and non-COVID area without any fear, both during the first and second wave. I always claim them, my boys and girls are all superheroes because without it's a selfless effort in the care of patients. So I take this opportunity to recall all my allied health professional members, students who are also played a vital role in the management of COVID. Moving to the career options for the allied health professional, the clinical role. Most of the allied health professionals, after completing their graduation, choose to work in a hospital with, and they are start with a junior career like a junior medical technologist or junior therapist based on their subject domain, and they can progress up to the head, senior or chief technological officer. One of advantage of working in a large or in a reputed organization would be few years of experience, let us say from 2 years or 3 years. These professionals have very good opportunities abroad. So actually, if you look in my batch, when we studied allied health profession, almost 60% are in abroad. And if overall, if I look, around, it's not less than 30%. So there are more opportunities. Even I got an opportunity, but I am not interested in going abroad. So choose other teaching as my profession. But lot of allied health professionals, even today, with years of experience, you can go abroad and we have plenty of opportunity. And there are the packages are very, very good for the profession. As I told you, there is a demand. Definitely, there's going to be a important role required by the other professionals to play, not only within the country, even outside the country. Again, this is one area now we look upon the role of allied health professional, this teaching. If I say there are very few postgraduate teachers, then I actually I listed almost 19 to 20 allied health professionals. If you carefully look, very handful of postgraduates are available in our country and very few doctorates available in our country. So there is an ocean of opportunity with pertaining to teaching of allied health professionals. Currently, the teaching is again handled by the doctors. So already they are burdened with the clinical care, patient care. Now, I think it's a high time that allied profession, now a lot of colleges are coming up, have started allied health science program, and even PG programs are being started across the country. So there's a ocean of opportunity, as I told you, especially with reference to teaching in our country. Not only limited to this, the industry, the job pertaining to the medical technology, the allied health professionals can play a different role in one of all these. These are just a few multinational companies I highlighted. This is actually an indicative list, not an exhaustive. Okay. So they start a profession as an application specialist, clinical coordinator, or a product specialist. Their job role is need to explain the functionality of the equipment that is being used to the doctor. They need to explain to the doctors and other healthcare professionals who are going to use those equipment. So starting from product specialist, one can go up to a managing director. Okay, I can say one leading managing director of one among, I do not want to tell his name or the organization. Within the company which I have highlighted, he is a managing director. His package is so high. Okay, with completing only a BSc degree from the allied health science, you could be able to go up to a level of managing director. So there are again a lot of opportunities for allied health professionals in the medical industries. Not only in medical industry, even IT health. You know, the first year of the allied health program, the students study the basic medical science like anatomy, physiology. MBBS students study anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, microbiology, pathology, and pharmacology. So this helps them have a better understanding about the human body. So they have a lot of opportunities in the organizations which I listed now. Again, it's an indicative list. They can work as a clinical coder or a medical coder. They can work as a medical writer. Then there are a good number of opportunities in clinical safety specialists or clinical research. Now, again, as I told you, the clinical research is also going into digital. There are certain things called CRF, case report form. All these forms are all being digitalized. So there are the safety reporters have to study the clinical protocol. Okay, whether the study has happened according to the protocol. So this is actually one of the job role. This earlier was done by the medical doctors again. Now the role of allied health professionals expanding, and now even now recently there are a lot of institutions started MSc, BSc clinical research. But still there is a lot of opportunity where even allied health professionals can play a vital role in this area of profession. Next is another important area, research, which is quite ignored in our country. As an Indian and as a I too have a patriotism. Okay, so I always feel when our country sends satellites, we have a Mars mission, we have a Chandrayaan mission. But when it comes to an healthcare professional, I always feel sad. Okay, because almost 70 to 90% of our medical devices are imported. It's not so difficult than a rocket science. Actually, this is the area where the allied health professional, along with other stakeholders, can play a major role. Because, if you just look upon the mobile phone, we have different category of mobile phones, like budget phones, high-end phones, which actually prepared keeping the customer in the mind. Similarly, we need to customize the medical equipment based on for our Indian need. There are certain features, high-end features, which are available with the equipments which are being imported, which may not be routinely used in our group of patients. And usually these machines come with heavy price tag. So if we have our own innovation, our own team to prepare our own equipments, something like the recent times Make in India concept is being echoed across India. I think allied professional can play a major role in the Make in India. I think a right brains need to meet at a right table. I think then the project will definitely roll out. So far we have seen about the career option. What are the different allied health professionals? How to become an allied health professional? For this, one need to complete a BSc Allied Health Science program. It's usually offered as a BSc Allied Health Sciences or BSc Allied honors as an honors degree. It's actually a 4-year program, including 1 year of internship. So the first year, the student study basic medical sciences, as I told you earlier. And the second year and third year, they study the area of specialization. For example, if the student chooses medical laboratory technology, he will study in detail about the medical laboratory profession in the second and third year. And in the fourth year, the student will do internship. He will get the practical exposure. So at the end of 4 years, when the student comes out of this program, will be competent enough to handle these equipment independently. And in our college, we also offer an academic flexibility. See, what happens is many of the programs are offered as a allied health science program or as a direct program pertaining to their specialization. For an example, BSc Radiology Technology or Medical Imaging Technology, BSc Respiratory. So without prior knowledge about the profession, the students sometimes opt a certain technology. After the way, they may think, okay, no, I may not be suitable for this profession. Then they cannot go back. I mean, almost 6 months, 1 year, the time is wasted. To overcome this, in our organization, not only our institution, but also several premier institutions offering the allied health science program, we keep first year as a common, where the student will get opportunity to visit all the branches of specialization, so that you will get to know about the in-depth information about all these specialization and take a informed decision at the end of 1 year, and you can choose the profession of his choice. And that decision would be more concrete and it will be helpful for the candidate also. And again, we have AHA accredited BLS and ACLS certification. The AHA is American Heart Association, BLS is nothing but basic life support, and ACLS is advanced cardiac life support certification program, which is being given to all allied health professionals, because this again improves the employable opportunity among the allied health professionals. Somebody with a AHA accredited certificate will be first considered. And eligibility for this program is +2 with physics, chemistry, biology, both botany and zoology. With reference to the program, what is offered in Savita College of Allied Health Sciences, we have offered BSc Honors Allied Health Science and almost 19 branch of specialization, which I have mentioned earlier. And newer specializations are being added every year. As I told you, the boundaries of allied health profession is expanding. And we are also having a master level program and PhD. This is actually I want to emphasize this till date, at least before 2-3 months, there is no statutory body or a regulator for this allied health profession. So, you know, the medical profession is governed by National Medical Commission. Dental profession is governed by Medical Council in India. Likewise, for allied health profession, there is no council. But thanks to the initiatives of several stakeholders, now the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Profession Act is available. It was passed recently in the Parliament. It's actually a landmark legislation which regulates and maintains the standard of education and services of allied healthcare professional. And so it provides a registration. So in order to practice, you need to get registered with the council. So this is going to be a rule, and this is actually the already the process has been initiated due to COVID pandemic. It is slightly delayed, but in a year or two, there is going to be a council for allied health profession. So all the allied health profession who want to practice has to get registered in that respective council. Right now, actually, we see I have talked about all these professions. You can have a small AV about all these professions. Audio, you can hear the audio. Actually, we are almost going to complete the slides. Actually, I have 2 more slides. So I respect all the profession, all the religion. Okay, you know, each religion has its own faith and it has defined God. Okay, as a human being, we have not seen God. We may have experienced. Don't think I'm talking philosophy, right? In healthcare profession, you can see most of the time it's doctors who see patients. So not only the doctors, there are, along with doctors, there are a lot of other healthcare professionals who also save the lives of the patient. You know, I always advise my students, see, whenever you work with in your area of specialization, you always try to improve the quality of life of the patient, improve the patient's satisfaction, happiness. So if you could bring any one of these criteria, then you also can be considered as a God. So not only I say this, the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister of India also has said, healthcare professionals are like God. Okay. So the person who are working in white coat, in uniform, saving a lot of patients, risking their own lives. Not just supposed to profession, I'm just talking about the importance what as a healthcare professional is required for this country. And my last, I mean, one side before my last slide, this is actually in Hindu mythology, you know, Lord Hanuman as a phenomenal powers. During this child, what he has done is he tried to catch the sun, thinking this was an apple. So he was cursed that unless someone comes and tell about his potential strength, he will not remain off his power. So I think similarly, the students, I think your school is reminding about your profession, to inviting a lot of people from various expertise to to remind about your strength, your assertiveness, your capabilities. Okay, so I think I take this opportunity to thank the school for doing this phenomenal job. And before saying thank you, I want to just highlight, if you're choosing healthcare as a profession, aim for doctor. If you miss to become a doctor by a few marks in need, don't worry, allied health profession is always there. So you have plenty of opportunity, and ocean of opportunities are available. And for others who are wishing to other than healthcare, I always remind of the words of Professor Abdul Kalam: dream, that your dream comes true, and you should succeed in all your dreams.
Success என்ன காரணம்? It's actually very simple. வாழ்க்கையில ஒரே ஒரு ஐடியாவை எடுத்துக்கங்க. அந்த ஐடியாவையே உங்க வாழ்க்கையாக்கிக்க. Think about it. All the very best. Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was amazing. I think on behalf of the entire set of entire set of people, entire set of students, teachers, and everybody, children, come on video and let us take this opportunity to thank all the frontline workers, doctors, paramedicals, anybody and everybody who is there working to make our life better. That is exactly what Dr. Jagdisharan has been telling us. And you see all of them are thanking. So we take you back, representative. Yes, thanks a lot.
Thank you, students. Thank you.
Yes, Sandra, you can proceed.
Sir, with your permission,
Children,
can we the platform for children to ask a few questions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Lakshmi.
Children, you'll have to, yes, those who wish to interact with Dr. Jagdisharan, kindly put forth your questions, doubts, your thoughts.
Good morning, sir.
1 second, Akshaya, 1 second. Others can go on a mute, please. I request everybody to mute.
Yeah, good morning, Akshaya. Good morning.
Go
Good
ahead.
morning,
Priya.
sir. Sir, I have this doubt from a long time. What is the actual difference between a doctor and a nurse, sir? They both learn MBBS and they both do the same work, sir, almost. Then why only doctors wear that white coat and they have extra respect and all?
Everybody has.
Okay. See, actually, the basic difference. See, doctor studies MBBS, the nurse studies BSc nursing. Okay. So in healthcare profession, every member plays an important role. Okay. But if you look, there should be one who have to take a clinical decision. So doctors are the one who take the clinical decision, right? So if you just take an example, if one needs to fly an aircraft, as I told you earlier, the pilot takes because he is the one who drives the aircraft, but he is guided by so many other professionals. Okay, like nurse. You see, the nurses spend their a lot of time with the patient. Doctor gives orders, move on to the next patient. So I don't it is not like a competitive, it is more of a complementary. So more of the all healthcare professionals are being recognized. In India, okay, the more emphasis because as I told you earlier, more we interact, patients interact with doctor, more they spend their time, okay, in their clinics. So it's natural to get importance, and they are the one who are the decision maker, clinical decision. Okay, hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Children, any other question?
Ma'am, may I ask it out, ma'am?
Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Ria of class 8, sir.
Tell me, Ria.
Sir,
I'm
first of all, thank you
student
so
from
much for this
class
very
8. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you so much for this very informative session, sir. I personally gained a lot of wisdom from it. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
And I would like to know your point of view on this, sir. I mean, until and unless you spoke about so many categories in allied science, I never knew about it, sir, very honestly. Why do you think that these categories are being overshadowed by the very popular ones, sir? Is there any reason behind it, or it is we people who are doing it?
No, there is actually no particular reason that it's being shadowed. See, again, going back what I told earlier, 20 years ago, if you go to a hospital, okay, you have a doctor, and usually there are some disease. Usually those diseases are limited. We have fighted with malaria, we have fighted with leprosy, tuberculosis, and very limited health technology also was available at that time. But gradually, there was a lot of invention were happening. So a lot of people and different stakeholders started coming into the picture. Now, doctors themselves are quite busy on handling all this because earlier doctors are the ones. See, to start with, doctors have performed dialysis. Doctors have done taken X-rays. Doctors have taken. But now, as I told you, the task shifting because now they have to ensure more clinical responsibility, clinical care. All these other players are coming in. This allied health profession is a new entity. Okay, I would not say new. See, I just if you look compare our country with the West, we are somewhere lagging in the technology. So what technology what we are using right now is actually an outdated one or is not being routinely used in the West. Okay, so there is a time taken for this transition. Our infrastructure has to be built. Then we need to look upon so many other factors. And the awareness about the allied health profession, is, as you rightly told, is not common among the general public. But now, I would say it is coming up. Okay. See, 20 years ago, I just shared when I took this profession. One of the dilemma all the plus two students have, that is called plus two, I would say plus two era or what. Before plus two and after plus two. Before plus two, your relative will ask what you are going to take. After plus two, they will ask you what you have taken. Okay. So it's very difficult. Many times I escape attending wedding because when I say I'm doing allied health science, they don't know. Okay. They will ask what is it, you are studying MBBS? No. Are you studying nursing? No. Are you studying compounder? Because at that time that was the profession. Okay. So it was quite challenging for me, but now time has come up. Okay, this is also a new profession. Now a lot of people, I think your school has given an opportunity. This actually I have told you in the very beginning of the session. Not even I myself was not aware about this profession unless my teacher told me. Okay, hope I have answered you.
Very much, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir,
Also,
this is Samriddhi.
Yes.
Yes, Samriddhi, go ahead.
So, this is Samriddhi Premkumar of class 8. So, my doubt is, intensivists, do they have to be well versed in critical care technology, or are the two fields distinctly like unrelated with each other?
Sorry, I can't get your question. You're asking intensivist. Intensivist is primarily the medical doctor. Critical care technology is the allied health professional. Okay. I mean, if you could explain me better, I can be able to answer.
Asked like, do the two fields, do they have something to do with each other, or are they unrelated? Because both of the professions, they deal with treating critically ill patients, don't they? So.
Yes. See, as I told you, intensivists are medical doctors. Okay. So they holistically take care of the patient. Okay. The critical technologists are the one who handle the medical equipment. Let me say a ventilator. Okay. Or oxygen therapy devices. Let me say we use a oxygen concentrator or an NIV mask. Okay. All these are handled by the critical care technologists. Whereas an intensivist will look upon all the clinical, okay, we look upon the biochemical and other parameters, and overall well-being of the patient is taken care by the intensivist.
Thank you so much.
Which both are related only, but these are two different professionals.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, I wanted to know what you tell about this, sir. Like many people now, if I tell I want to become a doctor, there are hundreds of people telling, "Hey, why? It takes a lot of time and it's very difficult to learn all that. You need to pass many exams now." So, what was your motivation, sir? Like, what made you listen to your biology teacher?
See, actually, this is a very good question, right? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? See, I said I'm a biology student. I'm not one. I told you. I felt okay. The competitive exams are very tough even at that time, right? So I know even if I take, I may not score. So what is the next available opportunity? Okay. So as a teacher, when you told me about this opportunity, and even the engineering slightly was under, see, engineering usually undergo the periodic cycle. Okay, like now what is happening? It has happened almost 20-25 years ago. So my all the teachers advise, please don't take for engineering for some point of time. But the other stories, my friends have taken engineering, they're all settled abroad. It's not about the profession, it's up to the individual. Okay. So if you really think you can, whichever profession you choose, you can definitely come out well. But there, as you told, includes a lot of hardship. That's why they are treated as God.
Yes, thank you so much.
Good morning, sir.
morning.
Wonderful speech and something very inspiring. And this is something that I feel all of us should know, that just as much as a doctor is and medicine is important, so are all your paramedical and allied health sciences field. So this is a question regarding genetics. As we all know, most of our diseases, current diseases, and the ones that can come in the future are somehow related to the genes. And you can see a lot of people, like what you said about infertility and all of that, and that somehow, the genetic makeup and all. So what are your thoughts on geneticists and genetic counselors? Do they also fall under allied health sciences, or is it something completely different? And is that a scope that is coming up here, or is it just more relevant abroad? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you, madam. Thank you. It's actually a good question. The so-called human genesis actually comes under allied health science as per the new act. Okay. Previously, the allied health profession, as I told you, had a different dimension. They were all considered as a life science specialist under biomedical sciences or biotechnology. But these are the specialists who now study on more about the human disease, as you told, rightly told, the hereditary, the responsible genes that can play. And it's not only limiting to the gene, it also, as I told you, this COVID, which has also caused a lot of other activity and undergoes a lot of variation, mutation. So at the DNA level, there is a role for cell genesis or human genesis. India, yes, actually, see, in India, research is now taking up slowly. There are certain challenges, but these professionals have a very good opportunity abroad. But in India, I think the profession is taking, as I told you, as a profession, there may be some ups and downs, but as an individual, if they could able to exhibit their talent to the maximum, definitely they can pay wonders in this field.
As a follow-up for that, what would you suggest would be the scope for our higher class students, let's say around their 11th and 12th grade, would, internships and sort of shadowing, lab technologists and, even in this genetics field, would that help them? Because that would definitely add to their understanding of the topic even before they step into whichever field that they want to. So are internships and all that possible for the higher grades? Is 11th and 12th, eligible for such, tasks? Can they do that?
No, actually, internship in the sense, it will be
Not
more of an
internship, like
observership. It will
observership,
be
or
observership.
shadowing a doctor, shadowing a paramedical professional, and something like that. Are those doable? Will that help them?
I think it is possible. Actually, but looking upon, see, hospital environment, the number of students, it may limit because if you say in a class of 40, all of them want to visit one particular lab. Okay, it may restrict the opportunity. Maybe we can schedule it, or we can have some kind of a touring, like may not be for a prolonged duration, for a shorter duration. It's still feasible.
Just to see how something works, like an
Definitely,
RT-PCR or something like that,
yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah,
Yes,
that's possible.
we can do that. Yes,
Yeah.
that would be wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Children, anybody else who would want to ask a question? I think the presentation was so elaborate and, so I think they don't have any more questions. So I think we are at the fag end of the episode. So can I have Mrs. Sandana to deliver the vote of thanks, please?
Thank you, Lakshmi ma'am. Sir, I think I should take this opportunity to give our salutes and respect to all healthcare professionals who've been standing in the forefront and fighting against the COVID and the pandemic and keeping us safe, enjoying such wonderful sessions at home. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the professionals under your care and under Savita Medical Center's care. And your presentation today was absolutely fantastic, elaborate, complete insight you have given on the various allied professions out there. As Ria had rightly mentioned, none of us knew about such a varied spectrum that was available on allied science. As you said, very few allied science we know, and it's prominent in the forefront. பட் இதுக்குள்ள இவ்வளோ இருக்கு, இவ்வளோ ப்ரொஃபஷன்ஸ் அந்த ஒரு அலைட் சயின்ஸ்குள்ள இருக்குங்கிறதோட இன்சைட் வாஸ் ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக் சார். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். You started your speech with your biology teacher who showed you the path on what you have to choose. I think this is the right time for us to say, give us a big gratitude to our directors, Dr. Savita and Dr. Rajesh, who are time and again doing this every Saturday, bringing in experts who can show children the various opportunities available in the world. It's just not நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி doctor, nurse, compounder அப்படி இல்லை. There is so much more in this world, whether it be art or dance, allied science, or being a doctor or an engineer. There is so much to what the children can pursue in life. So heartfelt gratitude to the directors, principal of school, and all the teachers who are striving every single day to show that path to the children of people. So thank you so much. And children, you have been very gracious every Saturday, being here, listening to mentors, experts in the industry, various industry, and absorbing everything that you can. Our prayers would be you choose your passion, you listen to your heart, take all the information provided, and our prayers that you shine like a star in the profession you choose. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today and spending your Saturday morning so our children could get a clear vision on allied sciences. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Actually, I should thank the students because for their patience, because I know it has gone so long. But unfortunately, the professions, we have different set of profession. I need time to explain about it. Thank you, student. And I actually want to express my thanks to the director, Kavita madam, and Rajesh sir, and our principal, Dr. Dhoni Mogi madam, and other teachers for giving me this opportunity. I had a wonderful time interacting with the student. Okay. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Dolly ma'am would love to see you. I think you have to come on your videos to show her the big smile. Tell her how happy you are of the session today. Come on, children.
Thank you, children. And I think it's time for all of you to thank sir for such a wonderful session, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The session was really
Thank you so
wonderful,
much, sir.
and it gave us a really big insight into allied health sciences. And
Thank you so much, sir. We have a lot to take home back home. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
It was very informative, sir. Thank you so much, sir.